really wonderful to have you on an African and a South African platform. Perhaps let's begin with the trade war between the US and China. What is your view on the current status of that trade war as President Trump has looked to ratchet up the aggression?
In fact, back in 2018, when Donald Trump, in his first term, started this trade war, and we made it very clear he will lose the war and lose completely. Because we made a calculation of US GDP, and we analyzed its trade structure with China. We came to a very simple conclusion. US depends far more on China than vice versa. So I remember last year, during the election campaign, Donald Trump said, I'm going to impose 60% tariff on Chinese goods. I said to American journalists, I said, ask your president to make it 600%. You will lose.
Yeah.
I said, obviously, your supermarket will be empty or half empty at least. And so I said, that's the main reason. And furthermore, if you look at the real situation between China and the United States, China is already a much bigger economy than the United States in terms of purchasing power parity since 2014. So it's almost a decade, more than a decade. China is a larger economy. And then, as I said, China had the world's most comprehensive and complete manufacturing setup. There's all the sub-branches of industries in the world. And there is an ecosystem which United States, due to its neoliberalism, hollowed out industrialization, economies, etc. It's impossible to create, say, in 1 decade, not mention less, its own ecosystem. For instance, Donald Trump said Apple should go back to the United States, not invest in China. Or Microsoft do the same, go back to the United States. It's not easy. Because for Microsoft, for Apple, within a radius of, say, 100 kilometers near Shanghai or near Canton, Shenzhen, you have all the spare parts, factories, enterprises, tens of thousands for your products. If you don't have this kind of industrial clusters and ecosystem, you cannot have the kind of quality and the cost of your production. So it's from all this point of view, we think the United States will lose. So that's the case.
Well, in addition to the ongoing trade war with China, the second Trump administration has now widened its view to imposing tariffs on virtually everyone. South Africa is no exception. I mean, how do you think this shift to move tariffs globally, because China's been dealing with this, as you say, for a long time, how do you think this will play out?
I'll give you 2 examples. One is the latest case of Brazil. United States levied 50% tariff on Brazilian products. So Brazilian leadership was extremely angry and indignant and trying to fight back. Then not long ago, China signed a deal with Brazil. Basically, the largest product sold to the United States is coffee. China buy all of them.
Wow.
And another large part of the export is spare parts for special type of airplanes. China said, we need them.
Wow.
So this is what we call the South-South cooperation.
Absolutely.
And also both are the leading members of the BRICS. Also, Russia signed a deal, currency swap with Brazil, also in the past few days. So all have to do with this tariff war imposed by the United States. That's my first case. Second is South Africa.
Yes.
If you look at this 30% tariff on South Africa, then I checked the data. In fact, South Africa trade with China last year was $65 billion. And Africa's trade with the United States as a whole, collectively, is only $70 billion.
Wow.
So to be honest, at least from my analysis of the Chinese market, this 70 billion something China can still consume easily.
Wow. Wow.
we put the situation to the extreme. And so for South Africa as well, even for the United States, only 15 billion more. And so that's the reason why when the United States declared tariff on the whole world and on Africa, including South Africa, China announced zero tariff for African countries, all 53 countries, except the one that's Swaziland. It had diplomatic relation with Taiwan.
Yes.
So for the rest, free trade, zero tariff.
It's interesting to hear you think that China can absorb a lot of that volume of trade on its own.
Yeah, because China has the world's largest consumer market. In nominal terms, US is still the world's largest consumer market. But if you look at in purchasing power parity, China already a much bigger consumer market. But for the US consumer, you look at the structure, it's a lawyer's fee.
Sure.
Pharmaceutical fee and the doctor's fees, all these types. But for Chinese, real economy, real consumption. And within China, it's a fierce competition. So price have been driven low. And but avocado is still expensive. So we hope with zero tariff,
you can take all of them.
Take all of them to China.
Absolutely, no problem. Professor Zhang, you've spoken about China's economy there, and of course, you've been a long-time important observer of China's economy. What would you say is different now compared to 10 years ago? Because China's moved from an industrial manufacturing powerhouse into very sophisticated tech goods, hybrid vehicles. And that's been quite something to behold. In South Africa, Chinese cars are taking over the market.
Indeed.
How would you say the economy has evolved in the last 10 years?
And we can say perhaps this way, if you look at China as a whole, since the founding of the People's Republic, we will see the first 3 decades, we laid the foundation. We have the most comprehensive setup of industries, but they are not that sophisticated.
Sure.
And the economy is still weak. And China's per capita GDP is lower than most African countries at that time. Then we started economic other reforms and opening up. That was 46, 47 years ago. China economy began to take off. And China missed first and second industrial revolutions. But with this reform opening up, roughly China went through one industrial revolution after another. And now China is at the forefront of the fourth industrial revolution.
Absolutely.
With big data, AI, quantum technologies, China is on the par with the United States, if not more advanced. So the past 10 years is important. That's the year of Xi Jinping. And when he came to power, he emphasized very clearly what he called new productivity or new productivity economy. As a result, we focus on the latest technologies and try to have them empower the overall economy. So China is not really the type of ChatGPT about how to produce beautiful scenery or whatever, videos. It's about industry. So China AI is really implanted into China's manufacturing. from mining to harbors to other industries, pharmaceutical industries as well, as China has world's largest industrial powerhouse. So this is makes things different. And China, if I give you a figure which is more or less accurate, if you look at the human resources, China now every year produces more engineers and scientists than Western countries combined. So take the year 2023 as an example. Every day, in average, we have 7.24 million engineers, scientists working in R&D. Roughly 4 to 5 times more than our American counterparts. So this is a model I call saturation plus precision. First, saturation. We went to Huawei just now.
Yes.
Huawei's philosophy is very simple. You have a problem, we try to solve the problem, we put 1,000 engineers, scientists. If not solved, 10,000. China can afford this kind of saturation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, because it's a large country, it can afford the testing of all kinds of technical paths and approaches. For instance, with EVs, China is the leader now in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we tried everything with now lithium battery, but also hydrogen, also ethanol, and other routes. We've all tested. But in the end, we found this lithium battery is by far better now at this stage than we get precision. So resources, human resources, financial resources channel into that particular sector.
Very interesting.
But we are, at the same time, we maintain our research, R&D in other technical routes. It's a large country, you can afford to do that. Like Japan, it's relatively small by Chinese standards.
Yeah.
So it tried out only stick to one route, hydrogen. In the end, it's not successful. That's a wrong approach. But China can afford. So that one not working, we try another one, and then precision, precise to particular area, and so then move ahead. Yeah.
I mean, just 2 examples recently show the success of this new economic turn.
Yeah.
I believe recently in Europe, for one quarter, I'm not sure which one it was, BYD outsold Tesla.
Yeah.
And of course, we saw the emergence of DeepSeek, which plummeted the stock price of Nvidia for a while because no one expected something like that to come out of China at this stage. So the strategy seems to be bearing fruit. It would appear.
In fact, in many ways, China is perhaps the real market economy, because for instance, we have about 100 and more EV factories and plants, companies, because they compete each other fiercely. And then BYD is can stand this domestic competition.
Right.
It came out, leading the world. Actually, this is the case with many other, with TikTok, with Shein, and with other, they have already experienced domestic competition. It's 1.4 billion people and the size of market.
Yeah.
And then fierce competition. And many companies go bankrupt, but they are successful and they become internationally competitive.